Well, hello people and welcome to episode 1 of Smashkeys' Toots, my tutorials with me, your favorite monkey Smashkeys. So what are we doing today? We are going to auto-kill the Wither in Space Astronomy 2. If you're in any other mod pack, any other sane mod pack, you probably have Draconic Evolution in it, in which case, just build a Wither Grinder. Wither Grinder? The Wither Grinder murders them, no problem. For us, that doesn't work. We don't have the Wither Grinder. So we needed a way, we did it. Where am I? That way? We needed a way to automatically spawn the withers and kill them. And comes the Wither Tower. Here we go. So, quick rundown. Withers get spawned. They don't explode yet, so everything down here is safe. Up there is where they explode. So the withers spawn, fans push them up, get pushed up here. They get pushed up even further. They get up here and they explode. And because we have claimed chunks, we have these chunks claimed, no explosions are going to happen, so we protect the laser turrets. So if you don't have claimed chunks, then just put a little shock absorber down, and you protect the laser turrets. And then the laser turrets just go ham, and they shoot them to death. Can we even look? Damage boost, fire rate, efficiency. So go back and pause if you want anything to help you out. But, so here's how it happens. That alone, you could figure that out. That's a simple situation. Just one to place, and then lasers. Thing is, we want to make it super efficient. So here's how we make it efficient. We do a little timer setup. So we have, this is where it gets a little more complicated. So we have a couple of different setups here. So one, we have the fans. Fans make it go. And then on. That way we can turn it off regardless of anything else, right? So the idea is that when any of these aren't on, if the fans aren't going, the withers will never spawn. If it's off, the withers will never spawn. So that means, I think we have the system set to spawn the withers, because we want it automatically and we want it super efficient. The withers will only spawn when we're low on nether stars, when we're high on wither skulls, and when we're high on soul sand. So if any of those are flipped, if we're high on nether stars, withers won't spawn. If we're low on soul sand, withers won't spawn. So it's pretty easy. So this is how we wire it up. So we're exporting wither skulls and soul sand over here. We don't have it crafted or nothing. So then this is the red one. This is actually to the fans. So that, bam, flipping the lever turns the fans on, but that's not all it does. So here's where it gets a little kind of stupid. So this is where you're going to have to kind of pause maybe. So we have a wireless receiver into the logic gate. And then we have, this is the on one, and this is the fan one. So let's look at what the logic gate says. So again, I think it's emit when too low, right? So we can even figure out which one of these receivers is soul sand, which one of these is wither skulls pretty easily. So watch. So it's ABC facing the redstone. So ABC. So we have it set to C. So if we're getting a redstone signal from C and nothing else, emit a redstone signal. So that means if we're low on soul sand or skulls, then it won't work because then B will be on, right? So you can pause, you can check that bad boy out. So then if those two functions are met, then we get a redstone signal to this one. And then same thing over here. So we have A, B, C. A is, all right, so what do we have it set to? We have it set to, I don't even remember. That's the thing. That's why we're going over this like an idiot. On. So if we're getting a redstone signal on A, and we're getting a redstone signal on C, turn on. So A is the fans or whatever. B, this is then going to be soul sand or wither skulls. So if we're getting a signal on B, that means we're low, so don't turn on. So fans, we're good on wither skulls. Then over here, it says C has to be on. So that means this is nether stars. So that means when we're low on nether stars, it gives off a redstone signal, which then means, hey, turn on. And then so if all those functions are met, if the fan's on, if we're low on nether stars, if we have enough sand, if we're not low on sand, then give off a redstone signal. Then this logic gate, simple thing, A and C. So both these ones have to be logic, both these ones have to be logic. And of course, there's probably an easier way to do it. This is just how I'm doing it with RFTools, some Ender.io, and just string, you know? So then it goes into the sequencer. So then the sequencer, loop 3, loop the cycle when redstone signal is present. So whenever it's getting a signal, it just loops it. So it gives off a little pulse, then waits a long time, then gives off a little pulse, and then waits a long time. And that pulse, that wait is really important for my setup. You could probably figure out a better way if you're smarter than me. So it gives off a redstone pulse to all these sequencers. So this sequencer wants to loop it once and then restart if it gets a new pulse, right? So it immediately, bang, no delay, bang. So that's probably soul sand. And in fact, yeah, see, it's orange. So bam, it places the soul sand as fast as it can. Then this one, again, these all get their pulses at the same time, right? So then this one, later down the chain, same thing, once, two, one. It goes bang, bang. So this one automatically goes off behind this one, and this is going to be the wither skulls. So bam, withers automatically spawn. Here's where it gets stupid. This is what this delay is for, and I think this is what this delay is for too. So then what happens is, this thing gives off a redstone signal for a very long time, and then turns off. And that's sent away on a different signal, and we'll get to that. Okay, so it's pulse, pulse, long pulse, and then off. Okay, and that's how our withers get killed. And we don't have a way out, do we? Why did I design it like this? I put little crawl spaces everywhere, but I never actually I never use them. Okay, here we go. Let's go all the way up, which we can't. We'll just fly like scrubs. See, there's a freaking thing there, and there's a teleporter there. Who built this base? This is a terrible base. Okay, now here's the turret base. You can actually shift right click. Actually, do we have, well, here, let's steal one of these real quick. I just want to put it back because I'll forget real quick. So the turret base, so we're using the laser ones. You could use any one you want, but the problem with that is turrets, turret, I wanted it to be as fire and forget as possible, right? And by having it laser, there's less automation. We could have did railguns, which do way more damage. See, the laser only does 1 heart of damage. The railgun does so much more. Problem is, the ammo needs ferromagnetic slugs all the time. Which, I mean, is cheap. It would be like a 1-hit kill on a wither, or 2, right? I mean, it's cheap, but then we have to automatically feed that in. We have to, and then if we run low on redstone, if we run low on flint. So by just keeping it laser, it's just power, right? It's just power. And then you can just slap the reinforce. They're beautiful. So now, can I put you back? There you go. So now, this thing is set to inverted. I think it comes standard as inverted. So it's active. Yeah. Wait, no, hold on. So I think it's getting a redstone signal. Hold on. It's automatically getting a redstone signal? Regardless, doesn't matter. So it's getting power, it's getting wireless power. But then what happens is, so it places a wither skeleton, the dust, the skulls, then this thing gets a redstone signal and it turns it off. And it turns it off, and it keeps it off. And I worked out the timing so that the moment the wither explodes, then the turrets work. Is it the best? Probably not, but let's try it out. So I know we're full on sand. I know we're full on wither skulls, and I know I took a bunch of nether star blocks out, so this should be good to go. Oh, and then we can actually look down here to see. This is why I should do crawl spaces. Oh, right there. Look at this. Okay. So the items are coming down, and then we just put conduit connectors. So we have the redstone, the white going into these ones, the auto placers that are set to pulse. Orange going into the auto placers that are set to pulse. And we put soul sand, only 1 stack. So then it's just not a huge amount of bullet buildup. That way we don't have 9 stacks for each placer. But then it's fine. And you kind of want to filter it out, but you can filter it out with color by having orange going into one and going white into the other. Else you could just throw a filter on each one of them, but it's up to you. It's either or. Like this setup isn't quite right. We have orange pulling out and white pulling out. I think I need 2 drawers, but that's an easy enough fix. So let's see if it works. So we want to turn it on. So now all the things are right, except it's not getting the fan one. So we're going to flip the fan. And then it should. So now this is where it takes a long time. This is why we have it set to this 6. Let's turn off our magnet. So it takes a little while. We could add a note or something. That'd be kind of cool. But what ends up happening, places, spawns, and the turrets stay off. Maybe we should have went up there. This is fine. See, no lasers, but when they explode, they start getting shot off. Woof. And then all their stuff drops down where a vacuum hopper picks them up, and then they get spawned again. So here's why we have such a slow time on them. Because they take forever to get out there. And because they're indestructible when they haven't exploded, by having the lasers up there, by having the lasers just on all the time, they'll shoot the withers. And then the withers aren't taking damage, but the lasers are using energy. So it's kind of, meh, I mean, you can do whatever. You can do it whatever you want. But, oh, how am I getting hurt? What's going on? Let's get back up here. Let's see them close enough. You won't put these glass on here so they don't actually get out. I might explode. Beautiful. Beautiful. So the reason why I put 4, you could do a very similar setup. Actually, I did a very similar setup where you... Uh-oh. No, it should be working. Hopefully the turret still works. It's beautiful. So now because the nether stars are probably now through the system, everything should be shut off and it shouldn't work anymore. Perfect. But just in case, let's go. Hey, okay, let's go flip the lever. And now they will not spawn. Beautiful. So let's head over. Let's head over to the test world. And now we're in this beautiful little test world. So, okay. Oh, now it's a pumpkin. Well, that's weird. So we have all sorts of magic power. We kind of made a little bit of a setup here. In fact, so let's run about building this real quick. For the most part, I feel like the way I showed it to you, you could probably get it. But just in case, let's build a little bit. So, and we can walk and talk at the same time if our brains are fine, which they probably aren't. But so we can do the phantom placer, and the phantom placer is pretty easy to mess around with. So if you don't have nearly as much resources, and you know what? To be fair, you don't need the whole tower doesn't need to be all indestructible glass. Oops, sorry. It can be all stone. It can be wool the whole way up. All you need is just the part where they're stuck, because actually the fan moves them. So that's another thing. Let's talk about how we can move withers around. And there might be a better way for us to do this. Can we go creative plus? Okay. Let's find immersive engineering, which I can never remember what it looks like. Yell if you see it. Is that new? No? It's not there? No? It's right here. Beautiful. So there's really only a couple of ways for moving mobs around, as far as I can tell. Basically, every single way gets destroyed by a wither. Right? Can we go this creative? Perfect. Basically, every single way gets destroyed by a wither. So here's what's going to happen. We'll put some things here. This might work for a second because they're kind of a weird entity. Well, that could work. Oh, hold on. So options, peaceful. I don't want them to explode. That's fine. So technically you could do that. You could have the withers spawning, then get pushed, and then they could fall into a different killing zone. That's fine. So you can push them. What else? How else can we move them? We could probably move them with the telepad. Telepad? Where's the telepad linking card? There we go. So we could have a telepad. Similar system. Can we not vein mine this? Okay. Similar system. Telepad over here. Telepad over here. But then the problem is they stay there. So let's link you to there. Or wait, are you the other way? No, yeah, you're the other way. So shift right click. Why no work? What? Hey. Do we need experience to work? Oh, maybe it's because we're in cheat mode. We're probably in cheat mode. So, there's a couple of ways. And location saved. Man, you're making me upset here. Why is this not... Okay, well, it doesn't matter. So, telepaths work. I think they work on other mobs. They definitely work on wither skeletons. I was using them, but for our purpose, they're not good enough. We don't want them. We don't want them at all. So, the fan is probably the best way to move mobs around. Did we even get the fan? We did. So, here's a couple of ways you can do it. You can just simply put a fan, just anywhere. We'll make kind of a similar situation as we did in the other place. Okay? So, down here. So, we can actually do... let's do this many. Let's do 2. Because it increases this range, like, ridiculously. Like that. Perfect. So now if you're in there, you're going to get pushed to this level, which is amazingly far. Can you let me get it down? Boy! Okay. So we have a couple of different ways. This is as far as you need it to go. You don't need it to go any higher than that. Because then when you're a bad guy, you just get pushed right into the ceiling. Right? So, we can just go... do we have placers? We do have placers. So you can check out the wiring. The wiring's fairly easy. Actually, let's leave it on deactivation for now. Deactivation. Because then we'll just make it automatically place them, which you can see is beautiful, and you can get it to pulse. And then let's give him some heads. Yeah. And then he's going to spawn. We don't have to worry about it because it'll take forever and a day to get up there. And we hit the fan. He gets pushed right into the ceiling. He cannot escape. He is trapped there. He is trapped there for 1,000 years. He cannot fly down whatsoever, even if I put my face in his face. Hey. Oh no. See? He is 100% trapped. And because of the reinforced glass, I think he could still probably shoot and blow these up. So you kind of want to be a little bit careful. But so now you automatically spawned him with the wire and my cool little setup that you saw me wire up. I don't want to do it again because it was complicated as all get out for me to do it the first time. I'm not very smart. So, placed. We have them automatically figuring out how many it has. We're automatically placed, automatically moving it. So where can we change this up to make it better? Well, we could have another level of fan. I just thought of this one. We can have a fan here pushing them up 10. They haven't exploded. Another fan pushing them up another 10. Haven't exploded. And then a third fan pushing them up even higher. So they'll explode just before they hit the top of the cap, the Wither Killer. Then once they explode and hit that top, then they start getting killed by lasers. Why that would be better is then you could just constantly spawn withers. You can have 8 being spawned at a time forever. Because then, the moment they get to the top, they're dead. Right? And that way it's not wasting a lot of power. Here's another thought. Because we can't kill them any other way. Lasers is really the only way. I've tried Mob Masher. They break it. I've tried Diamond Spikes. They break it. I tried Iron Spikes. They break it. So there's really only the lasers. And I kind of did the math. Where the lasers cost-ish 200,000 RF to kill a wither. I mean, we can even test it ourselves. Let's test it. Let's try to make it a little bit more efficient. No, you know what? Forget that. It is super efficient. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about your face. So let's actually mess around with something a little different. So I thought of this, and I think you're going to be happy. So let's kill this guy real quick. This actually might be my new Wither Killer. This is a better idea. So, oh, stupid fan. So, similar timer system. I did this on the stream. I used a shield to kill the Wither, and it did work, but at a much higher cost of power. too high, in my opinion. Too high of a cost of power. I think it ended up being like 600,000 RF a tick. Just to kill. So really, I mean, it's not that bad. Really, we could use it. And that was the same size mob grinder. I think it was actually smaller. So imagine the second half of the mob tower, the wither tower, not there, just the first half. So same way. We have the turret. Actually, do we have a ranch? We probably don't, hey? So creative, what does it look like? It looks like, I missed it. Here. So we did, beautiful. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I can get you out of my face. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So what ended up happening was the wither was pushed. They were pushed up, they were hitting the roof, and they were sitting there for about 10 seconds, maybe 12 seconds. And then they exploded, then the turret started shooting. The turrets used 200,000 RF. I think it's like 183. It was really a really low amount per wither, because then the Nether Star, you get like so much power, right? But then we used the shield, and the shield had a similar setup. So we want to tell it solid, entities cannot pass. We want hostile mobs. And we want solid damage. That's what we want. So anything trying to get through our portal is going to get hurt. Okay? And in fact, let's do a double check. Let's leave it just damage. I think this is going to be way better. Insert. So let's remove you, delete. So it's just damage. So they're getting pushed up into the roof. The shield's going to appear. So here's what's happening. So let's get a capacitor. Do we have a full capacitor in here? A not cheaty cheap one? Perfect. So let's do like this. Maybe like so. Like so. Is it on all the time? On to activate. Are you gonna behave? Perfect. So now we'll get to see how much power it actually uses. So we flip it. Okay, here's what's going to happen. Actually, we'll even do this, because we can make them ourselves. Don't even worry about it. I think this is the better way to do it now. Now that I've just realized you don't need to make it even taller, mob spawner. You can make it like this. You can make it real easy. Can I have a bunch? Thank you. Make sure it's day. Flip the mob grinder. So here's what was happening. The laser made like 200,000 RF a tick. We're going to leave this on. We're going to spawn a wither. He's going to get pushed up into that. And then he's going to start taking damage like crazy. Ooh. Oh, look at it all. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Bam, a lot of damage. And then off. How much power did it use? Not a lot. Still like 300,000. So just a little bit higher than mine, I guess. My other one. So let's fill back up. Don't know why we're doing it that way. We could just do it like this. Filling it back up. Here's the other plan now. So on to activate. Pass. What if we do the exact same thing? We do a timer setup. Right? So a similar type thing. They're spawning. Then the moment they explode. Anytime, buddy. Anytime. Then they start taking damage. $100 nothing. So it kind of seems like they still take damage regardless. But either way, I showed you two easy ways to kill withers without the other way. I mean, so you can imagine if we had Draconic Evolution in this, we could have a similar thing. we could have, well, if we had Draconic Evolution, we can teleport them away with Draconic Evolution. The only way we can teleport with this one is this way. So we could, if we had Draconic Evolution, we could use a telepad to spawn them. They drop, telepad away. Then the moment they spawn, the Wither Grinder kills them. This way we pretty much are limited to using the fan for really anything, because the fan moves them and traps them. So placers automatically place with a little bit of wiring. Fans automatically move and trap. And then you can have the choice between the lasers, which really, do we have a turret? At turret. Once you start thinking about auto-killing withers, a laser turret isn't that bad, right? Like it's gold, redstone, a bunch of vibrant alloys, but really all you need is one. Okay, so say you don't have the money for a big shield projector. Say you don't have the money for that. Say you only have the money for one turret. So, try it out. Like this. Similar system. We'll do it even pared down, a little tiny baby one for you. So if you have no money for nothing. So, you spawn them here. Well, in fact, it can probably even be a little bit tighter. I'm always worried about how small the spawner is. So I'm always worried that they'll glitch out, because it's happened to me once before, and it definitely ruined my base. You know. So here's what we do. It doesn't have to be this tall. In fact, it can be a little bit smaller. But again, if you're doing it at this level, you probably really want to do shock absorbers. Okay. Then we have the placers here. In this little area, the fan will be on. Placers in this little area. And then just one little turret. Is it going to be super automated? Nah, not at all. In fact, okay, here's another thing. It's probably not going to be automated whatsoever, but you can then you can hit a button, spawn some skulls, hit a button, spawn some soul sand, and then once they get blown up, then you can flip a lever and kill them with the laser. It's not so bad. You still get a little bit of a shock explosion damage, but this is probably the best. Then, once you have a kind of a semi-steady flow, when you have nether stars on demand, then you work towards this, right? The only thing I'd be worried about, we kind of have a setup here. So, we can actually, this is a little tutorial thing for you. So you can set these detectors to emit on a certain signal, right? So we're going to tell it Wither Skulls. We're telling this importer to only, this is our whatever's making our Wither Skulls. So this redstone signal can be to spawners. This redstone signal can be to your farms for Wither Essence, whatever you want. But in this case, this redstone signal is just on the importer. So we want to say, hey, when we're lower than 100, give off a signal, which will be immediately, which means it'll start importing. Actually, do we have another? We have like a stack. So it's slowly importing. Let's slap a stack thing on here so it goes real fast, okay? And then immediately it's working. So now we have enough. We have enough Wither Skulls, so it's turned off. Problem with this is it starts to lag really quick. So say you're constantly flopping between having 99 nether stars, or 99 Wither Skulls, and 101 Wither Skulls. Say if you have a bunch of this going all the time, what it's going to do is this thing is going to keep flashing. It's going to keep turning on and off your Wither Skeleton. There's a lot of information going around. So what I want to do is we do this. So we say when this one has emit when under, hold on, let me use my brain. Yeah, I think this will work. So this thing will say if we have too much, give off a signal. This thing will give off a signal if we have not enough. So what we want to do is we want it to turn off if it's getting a signal to ABC, when it's getting a signal. So turn off if you're getting a signal on C. Because that means we have too much. We have 200. We want to stay between 100 and 200. Then we want it to turn on if it's getting a signal from A, right? On. And no signal from C. I think that'll be good. Let's see if it works. So let's take all the withers. In fact, let's turn maybe the stack upgrade off a little bit. And let's take some of these skulls out. Can I get rid of my inventory? Can I just trash it? Ooh, okay, well, here we go. So once we have less than 200, now it doesn't care. It's not doing nothing. But then the moment we get under 100, simple fix. We say on if it's getting it from A, B, or C. I think we can lower this down to 110. Say we want to stay between 100 and 110 for some strange reason. Perfect. I think that's going to work. So if we get below 100, yeah. This works. So if we get below 100, this turns on. Going to A, on. Between 100 and 110, nothing happens. So A, B, C off, turn on. And then when we get over 110, gives off a signal, and then C off. So now we'll ride the line between 100 and 110. Let's see here. So 100, here comes 100. And then once it gets to 110, it'll turn off. Perfect. But then, say if we take out, oops, it's not going to work. let's bump this up. Let's bump this up to 168, 170. If we bump it up to 170, how many we got? We're still good. So we're still pulling in 100. So once we get up to 170, turns off. Beautiful. So if we ride that line, if we take it out, see, it still kind of rides that line. Well, this is the worst toot ever. But I mean, I think we could figure out some kind of wiring system like this, right? Either or, having a buffer zone. I mean, you could even have it as a timer, really. Whenever you get less than 100, turn on, and then have not the timer, the sequencer. Because then you can have the sequencer. Can we have a sequencer? Do we have one kicking around somewhere? Sequencer? Of course we don't. Come back. Where are we? So by having a sequencer, this is mostly me learning, it seems like. Okay. So by having the sequencer, again, get a redstone signal when you're less than 1,000, and then you can just have it like this. Fill all. And then you say, when a redstone signal is received, loop the cycle once, ignore further pulses. And you can set that to 10. So that means when we get redstone signal, meaning we have less than 1,000, it'll give off a little redstone pulse, well, one long signal, which will then turn this on, and it'll almost give a straight signal all the way through. Then your spawners will turn on, or your farms will turn on for a long time. But then, the moment you get over 1,000, when the redstone signal turns off, this will run for several seconds. Maybe you can turn it to several minutes, depending on the delay. And then once it runs through all of this on the long delay, it'll stop, because it ran it once, and it's not getting any more signal, so it'll stop. So that's it. Bam. So hopefully this helps. I know it's kind of complicated. We have auto spawn, auto move, auto kill, but then really this is the main part of it, is to not lag your face off, you know? And as far as I can tell, the RS system is really the only way to do this. You know? Really the only way to do this. But that's it. That's my first toot. I'm happy I could share it with you. So tune in next time when maybe we do a different toot. Leave a comment down below maybe if you're having problems with something, maybe even something you saw on any of my on any of my episodes, and just be like, hey, you built something, you didn't say how it works. Tell me how it works, and then I'll give it a little toot just for you. So thank you for watching, and subscribe, I guess. Have a nice day.